everyone, welcome back to my channel. Today we are going to be doing a get ready with me, trying out a few new products. There's been so many products that have recently launched and I just don't have the time to catch up. So as you guys know, I've been kind of slacking in the uploading department. Lots of things have been happening in my life. So anyway, I figured the best way for me to catch up is to try out a bunch of new products and do it all in one video. Some of these products I've had for a while and I can really give you a, full detailed review even though it's all in one. So what we're going to do is I'm going to talk about some of the products as I'm, playing with them and trying them on. Once we get done with that, we will go ahead and do some swatches of the products that I discussed in today's video, and then I will get into my full thoughts at the very end. Now, first things first, I'm going to be talking about the new Huda Beauty Stick Foundation. I have a lot to say about this. I've actually been wearing it for about 2.5 weeks, so I really know how I feel about it. Also, if you guys haven't heard, Tarte released a hydrating ultra creamy version of the Tarte Shape Tape. I picked this up on QVC and this is the third time that I've tried it. So I'm kind of getting to know it a little bit more, and I'll let you guys know if I feel like it's hydrating and all of that at the end. Also, many of you guys have been waiting for this. This is the new Wayne Goss. This is the Pearl Moonstone palette. And, as many of you guys know, Wayne reached out to me a couple of months ago and asked if I would join and represent those who have a medium skin tone and those who are over 40 loving makeup, and be a part of his launch video. And I was so extremely grateful and so excited about it, and I'm still overwhelmed. I just am. It was a wonderful, great experience. And I've had this palette for several weeks. I would say it's probably been a month now. Maybe not quite a month, but almost a month. It's been a minute. So I'm going to get into my thoughts on this, creating this eyeshadow look with it. In the footage that I sent over to him to include in his video, I used this gorgeous shimmer shade. It's like a turquoise blue. It's so pretty. So I used that shade and I thought, maybe I'll spice things up and use some of the other shades so you guys can see what they look like. And also, for those of you guys that watched my recent video of the 2 Fenty highlighters that I uploaded, oh, you guys, I was mortified. I was so mortified. I reached out to my friend Mel and my friend Teresa, and I'm like, do I need to delete this video? I completely flubbed up in that video. Long story short, again, I've been off the radar, right? So when you're caught up in life, it's hard to keep up with what's out and what's new. And so anyway, so when I saw Trend Mood had posted the post saying the highlighters, the new shades in the Diamond Bond formula from Fenty are now available. So I jumped over to Sephora, and of course I saw the original color, the white one. I think that one's called How Many Carats. So the other 2 I thought were the new shades. So I bought those 2 new shades. Well, unbeknownst to me until I uploaded the actual video and you guys were like, wait, that's not the new shade, Tara. I was saying that Cognac Candy was, not only did I say it wrong throughout the entire video, which seriously, I'm the worst at pronouncing things. You guys are learning that about me, right? Nobody's perfect. Can't pronounce it, and I'm always so grateful when somebody reaches out and says, hey, this is how you say that word. So grateful. So you guys know who you are. I love you for letting me know when I mispronounce things. I love the constructive criticism. I'm somebody that I feel like it makes you better in the long run. It makes you better. So this is Cognac Candy. I was calling it Cognac, whatever. Anyway, so embarrassing. So this is not the new shade. So in the video, I talked about the Rosé Raven and the Cognac Candy being the new shades. Well, the Rosé Raven is a new shade. Cognac Candy is not. So what did I do? I jumped on the Fenty website, paid overnight shipping, just so that I could get the new shade and include it in this video. So this is the Royal Icing shade. Just for reference, in case I confused you all, these 2, the Rosé Raven and the Royal Icing, these 2 are the new shades. Also, I have a few new products of lippies that I wanted to share with you guys. So it's all in today's video. Without further ado, let's go ahead and jump into the application. Then we'll get into the swatches, and then I will jump into my final thoughts. So I will see you guys then. Okay, so let's go ahead and get ready. My teeth and my tongue are blue because I just got done eating an acai bowl for lunch and it was delicious. I get them at Trader Joe's and they are the best. Okay, let's move on to makeup. So we're gonna apply the new Huda Beauty Stick Foundation. I have been literally wearing this for like 2 weeks now. I know everything about it. I've worn it with different primers. I'm gonna give you guys the full rundown of how I feel about this foundation. I have it in 2 shades. I have Baklava, which is 340G, and I have Dolce di Leche, which is 350G. I have actually been wearing 340G, which is Baklava. It matches me pretty good. So what I do is I just put some stripes all along here. Now, it's been my experience with this foundation, the brush is the best way to go. If I try to move it around with a sponge, it doesn't quite move like it would with a brush. I just can't get it to spread very good with a sponge. So going in with a brush, and then I will go over it with a sponge just to kind of smooth it out and make sure that it's all, you know, picked up and blended into the skin. That's been my preferred way to apply it. Now, of course, if you have it and you've been able to make it work with a sponge, then, you know, that's great. I, for one, have not been able to. Now, if I want a little bit right here, instead of like swiping it, I will just take my brush over top and go in and put it where I need it. Now, the thing that I will say is be careful with getting this too thick in one area, which is the one reason why I like to do a brush versus a sponge. Because as I'm wearing this through the day, if I get it too thick in an area, it will lift from the skin. This is one that gets a little bit oily on me as the day progresses. I mean, it looks really beautiful, right? It's got a nice glow to it, and you've got a nice medium coverage, which I really like that about this foundation. Now, as far as the sponge, I'm gonna be using this new sponge that stands out. This brand Stands Out sent this to me. And I read the directions on it, and it said the warmth of your skin is all that's needed for the Stands Out beauty sponge to reach its optimal softness for use. It is recommended to use the sponge damp for the first 3 to 5 uses while that's how it's going through its breaking in system. After the 3 to 5 uses, water is optional. I did go ahead and dampen it, and I'm just gonna go around and just like make sure that everything is nice and smooth. And I know a lot of people really love this sponge, so I appreciate Stands Out for sending it to me because I've always wanted to try it. Okay, let's move on to the forehead. So I just kind of do this. Now, I just had my roots done yesterday, so you can see the dye kind of still on my skin. So that's what that is, if you're wondering what it is. I mean, you can see that this foundation blends out really beautifully. It does. It's got a gorgeous finish, but it's just one that I cannot get it too thick in any areas. So you can build coverage with this, but just make sure that you have really went in and blended that out. Just make sure that it's not sitting too thick in certain areas. So I have these 2 brow pens that I picked up from Tarte. These are called the DIY Brow. They're a detailing pen. These are new, and it says to shake them well. I got them in 2 shades. I got taupe and medium brown because you just never know what shade. So this one right here is the Tarte, the new one. So you can see that it has a brush on it. So it's a slanted brush. Normal brow pens come a tip that comes into a point. This brow tip comes as a very, very, very tiny, like brow brush. Here's a brow brush, okay? See how it has this little tip on it? Well, this is even smaller, and so it's got a nice angle on it, and you can see how it's got the point right there at the top. This right here is medium brown, and this is taupe. You can see I was trying to get the marker to work. Taupe is very, very light. So I rub my finger across here, and it does look like it's pretty good. It seems like it sets and dries down. It's a little warm for my brow color, but it works pretty good. Okay, so the brows actually turned out pretty good. That marker is pretty easy to use. I will continue to use it and update you guys, but I might have to get me a different shade. I don't know. Now that I've got them done, they don't look that bad, but we'll see. You know, sometimes when they're too warm, they don't really look the best throughout the day, so we'll see. Let's move on to the eyeshadow palette. This is the new Wayne Goss Pearl Moonstone. I know that you guys have been seeing a lot of looks using this turquoise shade, and in fact, when I sent over the footage to him, this was the shade that I used in that tutorial, and it's just so pretty, and it's got a very beautiful texture to it, and it's just it's so pretty. Now the thing that I like about this shade in particular is that you can leave it like this, where it's just like a thin veil of color over the lid, or you can build it up. And as you build it up, it just gets deeper and deeper. It's such a gorgeous shade. I know a lot of you guys have been seeing tutorials using that shade, so I'm going to use other shades in the palette. I'm going to kind of mix it up. I'm going to use this pink shade, you know, maybe try a little bit of the silver. So I'm going to grab this pink. It's kind of a peachy pink. It's more pink, but it has a peach base to it. So I'm gonna put some right here on the lid. Now what you'll notice with this shade is that this shade is not super intense. It's a very soft shimmer. In the first palette he created, the Imperial Topaz, these two shades have that very soft shimmer texture to them. Both of these do. And these are extremely soft, and they're not overly pigmented, okay? Meaning they're not a super shimmer. They're not super strong on the eye. And that's exactly how these two shades are. These two shades are the exact same intensity. So it just depends on what you like. If you like something that's a little bit more shimmery, you can either put something over top of it to really, you know, bring it to life, or it might not be the formula for you. It just depends on what you like. Let's add a little bit of the gray shade, this one right here, so that you can see what this looks like on the lid. But you can see how the gray is the same thing. That gray is just a very soft gray. Now, the one thing that I will also say about this pink shade is that if you get it too thick, it will start to kind of get a little bit crumbly on the lid. So be careful trying to add too much, because it's not got a lot of intensity to it. You know, sometimes you run the risk of applying too much, trying to get more intensity. And the thicker it gets, it's not going to be as smooth. It's not really the type of formula that you're really going to want to build. Because one, you're not going to reach a different level of intensity. And number two, the thicker you apply it, the more it will kind of break away and kind of start to crumble into the creases of your lid. So just keep that in mind. So now that I kind of have those as a starter, I'm going to grab this shade right here. And as you can see in the camera, this is more of a gray tone. This has a little bit more of a blue undertone. So let me show you the differences between these two shades. So this is the top shade, this is the bottom shade. You can tell that there is a little bit of a difference of undertone. So this shade definitely goes with the undertone of this turquoise shade. This shade goes with the undertones of these grays and pinks. So I'm gonna grab a pencil brush. I'm gonna grab this gray right up here on the top row. Lightly bring this in the crease. Now, the thing that I've also noticed about this matte in particular is that as you apply it, it can blend away. So it's a very buildable formula. If you blend it too much, it almost starts to blend away. Now I'm gonna grab a little teeny bit of the black, and I'm just gonna bring that black right out here, keeping it real close to this outer corner. Okay, so I started on this side, but ended up having to wipe it off. I guess it's just one of those days. But I like the way that this blended out, and I'm having a hard time getting this side to match. Obviously, it looks a little sharp and a little ridiculous because I am going to be putting on a new concealer. I kind of messed this up. All right, I'm going to go back in and put on my primer and the base, the Mario base, and I got to fix it. What happened was it was like the gray blended in good, but when I went in to do the black, it just wasn't having it. So I just got to fix it, and hopefully I can get this side to blend and look the same as this. I mean, I am not a makeup artist, so therefore I'm constantly winging it. You know what I'm saying? Let's try this again. I'm going to go in with this pencil brush, and I'm going to go into this gray shade right up here and create that V shape. And you can see that it kind of gets a little bit patchy on my eyelid, and I think that's what I was struggling to get it to blend. Not sure if I'm having like a dry patch on this side. I just don't know if it's the angle that I'm coming in at it. I don't know, but... And grays and blues are very hard for me to do anyway, and like it's wanting to like get patchy and like stick to it, and I'm struggling, so... Wish me luck. Because if I can't get this side to match, I don't know what the heck I'm gonna do. Because you can see that it's kind of patchy in certain areas. Okay, so I'm gonna add a little bit of the black and see if I can get the black to kind of blend into these harsh edges that I'm creating. What I'm gonna do, because it's still patching up on me. Okay, what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna grab this silver shade right here. And sometimes you can bring a shimmer into the crease and it will fill in all of those little patches. Now that worked, didn't it? That helped. Yes, it did. Okay, that helped. All right, I'm gonna do that on this side. I'm gonna grab it and put it like right here. Okay, so that gray shade is like a miracle worker. It really is. It gave some soft shimmer into the crease and in a very soft way, but also, you know, so it gave it some shine, but it also calmed down some of the patchiness that I was having issues with. Okay, so this is the new Ultra Creamy Tarte Shape Tape. These look exactly the same. I kind of wish that they didn't look the same, but this is the original and this is the new one. They look exactly the same, like the writing on the bottle, everything. The only difference is the new one has a purple sticker on it and it says Ultra Creamy. The old one doesn't, so FYI. But I bought this in the shade 36S Medium Tan Sand. It does give me a nice full coverage, and you know, it kind of has that Tarte Shape Tape thickness to it, but it is creamier. It definitely is creamier. So I'm just going to take a brush and just stipple and blend this out. You can see the hydration in it, but again, it's hard to kind of know, you know, if it's something that is going to be drying. I have worn it a couple of times, but you know, I'll keep you guys updated. Let's move on to the lower lash line in this palette. So I think I'm gonna go in directly into the silver. Let's see what the silver will look like on the lower lash line. Let's put that right under here. And I gotta buff this edge out because it's a little bit too. Ooh. Oh, I just messed up this line. Okay, hold on. Oh. Okay, I'm gonna grab the shimmer. I just totally messed up this line. Let's see. I'm gonna take a flat tipped brush and I'm gonna go a little teeny bit into the matte black, just a tiny bit. Really tap that off and gently deepen this outer corner up, but not a lot. Like, I don't want it to be too dark. So I'm gonna grab a little bit of the black and go right here close to the lash line. So I'm gonna grab this shade, which is from the Imperial Topaz, and I'm gonna put that on the inner corner. It's a really pretty kind of vanilla type of shade. I'm gonna grab that and stick it right here. Okay, so I went ahead and threw on some lashes. Lashes always pull it together, right? Like, it always just makes everything look so much better. Let's move on to the highlighter. So Fenty released 2 new shades in her highlighters. So when I saw these 2 shades, which is Cognac Candy and Rosé Rave, I thought these were the 2 new shades. The Rosé Rave is a new shade, but the other new shade is this one, which you have to buy this on the Fenty website. So this new one, which is called Royal Icing, it is not available on the Sephora website. It's only available at Fenty. So these 2 are the new shades, okay? This is Rosé Rave, and this is Royal Icing. And Royal Icing is like calling my name, you guys. This is so pretty. So it's more of a champagne gold. Oh, is what it looks like on the black brush. Look how pretty that is. Let's put it on this side. Oh. This shade is stunning. I'm gonna grab this Huda Beauty highlighter. This is this huge one. This is the Nymph highlighter in Flora. I'm gonna put some of that on this side. Let's put this over top. Woo! Let's put this Royal Icing over top. Oh my gosh. Do you guys see how pretty that looks over top of the highlighter? Like, it just gave it so much life. So I got some new shades of lipstick that I want to share with you guys. And I loved the gloss set that I got from Lisa Eldridge. I got the original one, which is this. It comes with the lip liner, the lipstick, and the lip gloss. This was in the shade Beauty, and it's so pretty. I loved that set so much that I went ahead and bought the set in the shade Muse, and I just want to show you guys what it looks like. I also picked up this from Tom Ford, and I am loving this. It lasts for hours. It's such a gorgeous shimmer. You guys, it's so pretty. So pretty. This is the Lisa Eldridge set in the shade Muse, and it is so pretty. So I'm going to put this on. I'm going to line my lips with the lip liner in the shade Muse. Then I'm going to go in with the lipstick. I love how perfect they pair. You don't need to blend the lip liner into the lipstick. You don't have to pull out any of your brushes. They just work perfectly. Let's go ahead and put the gloss over top. Is that not so pretty? I love this. Her glosses are super opaque. Look at this. I mean, look at the opacity. This one is the shade Beauty, and this is what Muse looks like. I mean, so much opacity to these. I mean, look at that. I've never seen glosses have this much opacity. So let's take this off and let's put on the new shade from Tom Ford so you guys can see what that looks like. I love this lip formula from Tom Ford, this shimmer. It's a very thin shimmer formula and it lasts for hours. Like the other day I wore it, it was several hours. I don't know, 5-6 hours. It was a really long time. Yes, by the time, 5 or 6 hours rolled around, it didn't look as vibrant as it does right now. But my point is, it lasts a long time and I just love it. I think it's so pretty. Yes, it doesn't go with my makeup look, but I wanted to show you guys what it looks like. It's super, super, super pretty. Okay, so let me jump into my final thoughts about the products that I used in today's video. We're gonna first start with the foundation because lots to say about this. So let's just break it all down. First things first, you get a nice medium coverage. Like I mentioned, you can build it if you need to. Just be careful building it because if it gets too thick and too much in one area, throughout the day, it will really pull and lift from my face. So that's number one. But I do think it's really, really pretty foundation. Number two, I don't really feel like a lot of people with oily skin is going to like this because this is one of the foundations where I do get shiny by the end of the night. So I've had this on for probably maybe 5 hours, 6 hours now. And if I run my finger across my face, you can kind of see where oils have kind of come through the powder. Even though I lightly set this with powder, this does allow my oils to kind of come through. If you have, dry, normal skin, you might really love this. If you have combo skin, you're going to want to use a really good powder to kind of put right there in your T-zone area to stop the oils from kind of coming through. That was probably my biggest complaint throughout the entire time that I've been wearing this. And it also kind of, by the end of the night, I would say maybe 8 hours and on, this right here around my nose, it starts to kind of lift and pull around here. So I haven't really had this as a very, like this isn't a really long wearing foundation. So when you first apply it, it feels and looks like more of a powdery type of finish. But as the day comes on, the oils really start to pull through. But I do think it's a beautiful foundation. If I had to rate it, I would say for me personally and my skin type, I would give it like a 4.2, 4.5 out of 5. It's a beautiful foundation. Now, as far as the concealer goes, I am very curious about this one because my under eyes don't really look that dried. I'm curious about this one because my under eyes don't look and feel drying. They don't feel dry under there. And I'm going to continue to wear it. I can't say for sure. I've only worn it for like 2 or 3 days. So I need to wear it for a little bit longer. I will update you guys in the next couple of videos. I will continue to kind of wear it. What I do like about it is full coverage and it kind of gives you the benefits of the Tarte Shape Tape, but in a more creamier, hydrating way. The only thing that I don't think this is going to work for are those who have more wrinkles under the eyes. I think I'm right on the border of not being able to wear this. Underneath my eyes, that's where I'm really starting to show the age as far as wrinkles go. And I think, for those of you who are older and, you do have more wrinkles under there, I don't think you would like this. If you're younger, like in your, late 20s, early 30s, mid 30s, and you like the Tarte Shape Tape, but it's too drying, I think you might really like this. But I don't think this is going to be wrinkle friendly, personally. Now, if you use just a little bit, it might be. That's the thing with the Tarte Shape Tape. I've seen women who are in their, mid to late 40s loving the Tarte Shape Tape, but they only use a tiny, tiny bit. So I think it all depends on how much you use. whether it will be beneficial for those who have a, more wrinkles under the eyes. So keep that in mind, but I will keep you guys updated. Now, as far as the highlighter, it's no secret that I love the Diamond Bombs. And yes, I messed up on the shades in that video, but I love the new shade. So if you love those gold champagne colors, this is just gorgeous. And I am so mad that I didn't know about this shade. And I am so glad that you guys were like, hey, you didn't do the right shade. That's not a new shade. Ding, 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 ding. This is beautiful. This is my favorite of all of them. I think I even like this one more than the white one. This is just beautiful on my skin tone. Now I'm going to continue to use this sponge and I will let you guys know how I feel about it. I did really like it today. I was pretty impressed with it. So I will continue to use it. It's not something you can use one time and say, I love it. You know, it's something you really need to use, and I will continue to use this every single day, and I will let you guys know how I feel about this. Let's talk about the palette really quick. So the palette from Wayne Goss, as you guys saw, I struggled with those gray shades, and I'm not really loving the way that they're blended into my crease. Here's the rundown on the palette. Number one, if you are somebody who loves a really beautiful, strong shimmer, this palette might not be worth picking up just to get this shade. I think this shade is this turquoise shade is the prettiest shade in the palette. You guys, it's stunning. As you saw in the swatches, this shade is a jaw dropper. It's so beautiful. These two shades right here are not that shimmery, but there's a lot of people out there who don't like a lot of the shimmer. I think that's what my mom loves about the Imperial Topaz. I bought this palette for her and she loves it because these two shades right here are just a very soft shimmer. So you have to decide if you're somebody that wants more intensity from shimmers, if you're somebody that likes a Charlotte Tilbury shimmer or a Natasha Denona shimmer or a Pat McGrath shimmer, this palette is probably not going to be for you. A lot of you guys have asked, if I have the Glam palette, do I need this new one from Wayne? She has these pinks and grays right up here on the top. Out of the entire palette, this is the only pink shade in the palette. So this is the center eyelid in the palette, okay? And it's very shimmery. Let me put it next to this one from Wayne. So you can see the difference in shimmer, the level of intensity. This is the one from Wayne. This is the one from Natasha. So you can see that there is just a difference in the texture and the amount of shimmer that you get. The shade in the middle is the one from Wayne Goss. These all around it are Natasha Denona. So the one from Wayne Goss, this silver has a blue base to it. This silver is designed to pair and match really beautifully with this turquoise shade. So even if you have the Glam palette, there's not really a shade in the Glam palette that has a blue base silver in it, so keep that in mind. But again, you can see the level of intensity. So the Natasha Denona shades are really reflecting off the light, and this one is just a very softer, a little bit more toned down. Now, as far as the mattes go, there's really nothing in Natasha Denona's Glam palette that has these blue-based mattes, and I think that is what makes this a little bit different from what we already have. So with that said, I think you just have to decide, is this a palette that I will use a lot? And I mean, this palette, the first one, which is the Imperial Topaz, these are like everyday shadows. These are for that everyday working girl or that everyday working mom, whatever it is. These are just easy everyday shadows that you can pick up and just work them in, and easy done. This palette, on the other hand, this new one, this is definitely a moment palette, but I will say this is one of the prettiest blues I've ever seen, but I wouldn't buy this palette only for this shade, is my point. I think you've got to love all of the shades in this palette in order to justify the spend on it. And I think that if you love shimmers that are more toned down, so for example, if you bought Wayne's first palette and that's what you love the most about this palette, is that these shimmers are a little bit more of a satin shimmer, then I think you'll be very, very happy with these. So you just have to decide if it's worth it for you. So I hope that that helped you guys decide if this was something that you guys needed in your collection. So that's it for today. Thank you for your patience in waiting for this video and these reviews. Thank you guys so much for hanging out with me in today's video. I hope that you guys all have a wonderful, wonderful day, and I will see you all in my next video. Love you. Bye.